Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisheshai Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatharini Jayo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, and welcome all the devotees to the level 2 classes from ISKCON Mangaluru. So last class we went through chapter 16, isn't it? We just finished chapter 16, and then yeah, we actually saw how to sing Guru Ashtaka, isn't it? So did anyone get a chance to go through Guru Ashtaka lyrics meaning?
Yes, Prabhuji, I went through it.
Okay. Hopefully others might have also gone through. If you have not gone through, just take time and then so go through, so that when you sing, right, so it will be more effective, right? So it's like knowing theory and practicals, yeah, or else it's like so we just sing for the purpose of singing, but we don't know so what actually that meaning is, right? It's a beautiful composition, right? And then we saw also, so what is the importance of it, right? Okay, having said that, so now today we'll be entering chapter 17. Okay, so basically in chapter 16, so what did we see? So we basically saw the divine and demonic qualities, isn't it? So, and we saw the categorization also, right? It is based upon following the Shastra and not following the Shastra, isn't it? So that was the main thing. So wherein it was said that the divine are faithful followers of Shastra and demonic are not, isn't it? So, and now we'll see in this chapter, right? So Arjuna, after listening that, he'll raise a question in this first verse itself. He'll say that, what about the persons, right? So what about oneself who is not in both the categories? Okay, okay. He follows something which is not in Shastras. Okay. What does he, where does he get situated himself to? Okay. So one is, we said that one is who's following Shastra, but he follows something which is not Shastra. Other than Shastra, he's following, but he's doing it religiously. So what is, where do they fit? Okay. Where does their faith lie? Right? So he'll be asking, say, in which modes will they fall in? Okay. So basically, so we'll just see the chapter. Yeah. So this is what, right? If you look in, right, the first seven shlokas, right, so it determines the modes. So the Lord will answer saying that those who do not follow the Shastras, right, so who worship according to their faith, they are actually dictated by the material nature, by the three modes. Okay. And then we'll see foods in the modes. Okay. And then sacrifices in the modes, right? And then austerity and charity. Okay. Food. So which kind of food is in goodness, passion, and ignorance? Same. The in modes of sacrifice, so which is dutiful, which is unfaithful, right? All those things will fall under one category or the other. And then the austerity of body, speech, and mind. Where do they fall? Okay. And then the charity, right? So in charity, it is called that place and circumstances. Okay. the place and circumstance. Depending upon that, the results differ. Okay. And then at the end, it will get concluded saying that within all these things, right? So the defect can be removed with these modes of nature by only doing the devotional service. Okay. So that's the more or less the story. Here we'll listen. Okay. That was the synopsis. Okay, chapter 16 we went through, right? So it actually divine and demonic, and then yeah, here it is the question. But into which category does a man fit who follows the faith something other than Shastra? Is he in goodness, passion, or ignorance? And then where is he situated in this banyan tree? Okay. So Arjuna Vacha. Ye Shastra Vidim Utsarja Yajante Shraddhayanvitaha Tesham Nishtatu Ka Krishna Sattvam Aho Rajastamaha. He's saying, Arjuna asks, "Oh Krishna, what is the situation of one who does not follow the principles of scripture but worship according to his own imagination? Is he in goodness, passion, or ignorance?" Okay. This is the question. Okay. Because they are not faithful, right? So in these are intermediate guys, right? So category, so wherein they do follow some rules, okay, some concordant rules, some injunctions which are not approved or which are not there in Shastra, right? Those who create God by selecting some place, okay, or some human being or some animal, right? So what will happen to their path, right? So what will be their this one? So how, in which category will they fall, and then where will they go, right? So which category will they fall is the question. So if you see in this drawing also, right? So there is something, right? So they even worship these things. These are what? Something, right? So this images doesn't make any sense. But say there will be people for this is just an example. Okay, so they'll create one. Um, they'll give one fancy name also to it, and then they'll say that okay, flying spaghetti monster or Scientology, something they'll create, and then they'll create some designer thing, and then they'll say that this is the one which you'll have to start praying, right? We see, right? So there are so many things which people do, isn't it? So the Supreme Lord said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: goodness, passion, or ignorance. Now hear about this. Okay. So what happens? So this is karmi, kami. This is bhakta. This is jnani. Okay. So this is what. So they always want to. They'll do karma, right? So their thing is always. So they'll do some yajna and then these all things to get into the higher planets. Here they'll try to merge with the Brahman. Here they want to go to Krishna Lok. Okay. Okay. O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Okay. Say what kind of modes have we acquired, right? So depending upon that, right? Say like associating with the modes, okay. So with that we develop the faith, okay. Basically, if you look, right, our soul is eternal, isn't it? So we have studied it in the 15th chapter also, isn't it? And so the moment it comes in contact with the material modes of the nature, so it actually dances in the modes, isn't it? So this is something the child, okay, so the child when it is actually in the mother's womb, right? So it's all pitch dark and packed, right? So it can't stretch its legs, right? So and the condition is very pathetic, isn't it? So there are worms, right? And say if mother eats anything spicy, then he gets that heat, right? So nothing is comfortable in mother's womb, right? So he cannot even stretch himself. So in that condition, the living being actually prays to the Lord, saying that, "Oh Lord, so please take me out of this." Okay. So and he promises there, saying that the moment I'm out, say I'll only be praying to you, and then say, "Please help me." But the moment it comes out, right? So then it gets into the Maya, right? So the nature, the material nature, when it comes in, when the uh, baby comes in contact with this material nature, right? There are so many things. By the time she comes, or she or he comes in, so they look at the nurse, the doctor, the parents, the brother, sister, and then they are lost. Yeah. So, but that our thing is that so we are actually originally we are part and parcel of the Lord, right? And but due to this coming in contact with this material nature, right? So we dance in any one of these modes, right? And then so we'll next see. So what are the modes? Say the different worshippers according to the modes. Okay. So this is slowly get into one after the other, right? Say yajante satvika devan, right? Yaksha rakshasmi rajasa pretan bhuta ganamshanye yajante tamasa jana. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Okay. So they'll actually worship the devatas. Okay. Those who are in the mode of passion worship the demons. And those who are in modes of ignorance, they'll actually worship Bhuta and Preta. Easy to understand, isn't it? So goodness, basically they'll go to the Devi Devatas. Okay. And then those who are passion, they'll actually worship Hitler. Eh? So Prabhupada, that's written in the purport. In one of the purports, he says that during the Second World War, right, there were people who were worshipping Hitler in India itself because they were doing a lot of black market, right? So they were earning a lot of money through black market. We have so many things, right? So all actors, they have also got temples, isn't it, in India? Those are all passion. Cricketers, film stars, isn't it? No
Yes, Prabhuji.
instances there are, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So and then that's passion, okay. And ignorance is reverse. So they'll do all this pujas, right? So like Amavasya, they'll go to that crematorium, and then what? And there'll be some trees, right? So in villages, actually, if someone knows that there is some bhuta or preta living on that particular tree, right? So then people go and then they actually worship it. The reason is, so that's the bad way of worshipping it, but they want some benediction from them also, right? For to do wrong things, you need wrong stuff only, isn't it? So that's the thing, right? So these are the different kinds of worshippers. Okay. So what should one do? So we should actually gradually progress towards the goodness and then get into Suddha Sattva, right? So that's the thing. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride, egoism, lust, and attachment, who are impelled by passion and who torture. their bodily organs as well as the super soul dwelling within are to be known as demons. Okay, so the Lord actually gives them. So you see, these all things which people have doing in. Huh? So this is who Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, all these guys they have done. Hiranyakashipu particularly has done so much of tapasya, isn't it? So for what? To become powerful, isn't it? Say they go severe penances, right? And then there is Bhasmasura also, right? So was actually cutting his flesh into the Yagna Kund, isn't it? So when he was actually performing the uh, Yagna, and then so when Lord Shiva was not coming, so he started cutting his flesh. So whole body's flesh he was cutting, and then he's putting, and then the last thing was he was ready to cut his head. So then Lord Shiva, so out of his mercy, he came in, and then he asked a boon, saying that, so I need a boon, so wherein if I touch anyone, right, so his head should break, or he should get in his, he should turn into ash. So Lord Shiva gave him the boon. But what was it? So was it to do something good for the um, humanity, or to do good for the um, society, or for anyone? Nothing. So what he did actually, those tapasya having some ill aspects, right? So he has done those things to actually do demonic things. So after getting that boon, what did he try to do? He was chasing Lord Shiva himself because he wanted Mother Parvati. You see how these guys are. Yeah. So basically what they do is they actually give pain to the body, right? And then their destiny is what? Demonic birth. So for them, right? So there will be no actually good births, right? And even there are a few people who do what do we say? Say they do fasting, isn't it? They do fasting to get the mileage, isn't it? Say like it's not there in any shastra, right? So they'll say that for the state I'll fast for some days, right? And then some other agenda. So why do people fast for the state? Because they want to come into the power, isn't it? So does anyone do that for the benefit of the state? No, it is benefit for him or herself, right? So those things are not correct. Yeah. Even the food each person prefers is of three kinds. Okay. According to the three modes of material nature, the same is true of sacrifice, austerities, and charity. Now here the distinction. So the Lord says that this all depend upon the faith the which we inherit into one of the modes, right? And then He has given. So what people in goodness worship, what people in passion worship, what people in ignorance worship, right? And then say giving physical tortures to the body is not at all recommended in Shastras. Krishna will never be happy if we are torturing ourselves to satisfy him. Krishna will never ever get satisfied. Okay. So, and then he says that the food, the austerity, the charities which we do in right, all the sacrifices which we do in right, so they also fall into three categories. Okay. So we'll see. So what food is actually like by goodness? Those who are in mode of goodness, right? What kind of food they eat, right? And then those who are in the mode of passion, what kind of food they eat? And then those who are in mode of ignorance, what food they'll eat. Okay. The coming verses are those things only. So identifying modes of faith is by observing the activities of eating, sacrifice, austerity, and charity. Those who know and discriminate based on these activities. So if we know these things, right, so we can actually discriminate. Okay, so that's the essence of this chapter. You see, Krishna is actually taking us into so many things, right? So he told the modes of nature, who are divine, who are demonic, and then now he's saying that what kind of faith they have, and then what kind of food they eat in, right? So you see, so much of importance is given to character building, right? Yeah, these are the foods. You see, this is foods in the mode of goodness, right? And then food in the mode of passion, and the food in the mode of ignorance, right? So basically, what happens? The food, if we eat in the mode of goodness, right? So they are juicy, right? Fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. Okay. So, like the fruits, vegetables, isn't it? They are actually, and then they're wholesome and pleasing. So, if you eat also, right? So, while eating also, you'll not have any problem, right? So, you'll feel so happy, isn't it? So, this plate, who will not like to eat these things, isn't it? And on the other side, you see, so the food which is in passion, okay. So, food in the mode of passion is too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning. Okay. All these categories which we eat, all the fast food stuff. So, it is all sour, salty, dry, burning, isn't it? So, this thing, so if you see, right, so there is this tongue, it's so hot, and say all these things, if you eat, right? So, the problem is, even you'll feel the distress while eating. When it is going also, it is a distress. When it is coming out, is also distress. So you'll feel the pain, isn't it? So if it is too hot and too spicy when you eat, right? So you feel that when it is going through your throat also, right? There will be a burning sensation. Even if it goes to the stomach also, it will not let you peacefully sleep. And even the morning, I'll leave it to you. You know how the problems are. So actually, these are in the mode of passion and in the mode of ignorance, right? Ignorance are the food which are tasteless, right? Decomposed, right? So basically, um, these are like remnants, right? So what will happen? So if you eat these food, right? So you'll get infections, disease, isn't it? So Krishna already gave us the formula, isn't it? So Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachyate. So you offer everything which are in the form of vegetables, fruits, pulses, right? Rice, offer it to the Lord and eat. So that's the best thing to do to actually get out of these things. Yeah. And the other thing is these days it has become a habit of people of using refrigerator, right, for everything. Say basically, at least in the West, I've seen these things. This is very prominent in West these days. So wherein the food is cooked at least is kept in that refrigerator for almost 2 days, right? So if they cook once, they use it for 2 days because everyone is working and then nobody has time, right? So they take out, put in oven, get it heated up, eat it, and again they'll pack it. Then again they'll keep it in the freezer. So this goes on. So those things are not good actually. It is always good to have food. So even in Ayurveda, it is being said. So whatever food we prepare, right? It is best to consume within 3 to 4 hours. Yeah. So ideally, that should be the thing. So it's not like days and night. Say we keep it, right? So I think the invention of fridge has led to these things. Right? Of sacrifice, that sacrifice. Okay. So did we cover this? Yeah. Of sacrifice, that's the sacrifice performed due to duty to scriptural rules and with no expectation of reward is the nature of goodness. So now we are entering into the sacrifice. Okay. So any doubt in food? So understood, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So
Yes,
these are
Prabhuji.
next we are getting into the sacrifice in the mode of goodness. Okay. So basically, if anyone who's following the directions of the scripture, right? So and then he is actually following it as a matter of duty, right? And then is not um, desiring for anything. Okay. So it doesn't. You should not have something in mind. Okay, chalo, I'm going to temple today, and then say I'll have a deal. Mostly, what happens is if anyone goes to Tirupati, they go and visit. So it's not wrong that they go and visit Lord Balaji. There are so many faithful people who go and then say, I think that's the busiest temple. But what happens? Majority of them, right? So they have some deal. They want some deal with the Lord. They'll say that, okay, so you do this for me, then I'll do this for you, right? Say they ask some material boon, and then if you do this, okay, so I'll give you 1%, 5%, 2%, right? We shouldn't do that. And the problem is everyone goes for economic benefits. So that is also a good thing. So at least in that way, also they remember the Lord, right? So that is there. But it shouldn't be our motive, right? So the mode of goodness should be just we go as a duty and then say like every day, right? So we don't expect anything but to please Krishna. We go and then we do service and then we come back. That's it. So that's something which is in the mode of goodness. And passion. Passions are the one which are done for some material benefit. Okay. So basically, okay, for some going to the upper planets and all, right? So these are so sacrifices for the mode of goodness. These things, right? No mental speculations. Go to the temple, right? Duty of every civilized man is this. Okay, desire general tendency is to offer with the purpose in the mind. Okay, no reward. They don't look for no rewards, but sacrifice performed for some material end or benefit. Okay, so basically out of pride or of passion, right? So that comes in the nature of passion. So they want something like higher planetary systems, right? So for those things, right? So they go into this mode, right? So and then like as I said, right, to get some name and fame in the society and all those things, right? So they do all these things. And this sacrifice performed in defiance of scriptural injunctions, so not following the injunctions in which no spiritual food is distributed, no hymns are chanted, no remunerations are made to the priest, and which is faithless. That sacrifice of the nature is of ignorance. So that where there is nothing, right? So like no hymns, right? No Vedic stuff, right? So no paraphernalia, right? So no calling of brahmanas or actually giving them say cows or jewelry or clothing, money, nothing. It's all like this. This is what we saw. We just spoke, right? So this is Bhasmasura. You see, he's having a knife and then he's cutting all his body flesh and then he's putting here. And then he was about to cut his neck. So now austerity in the modes. Okay. So this is austerity of body, speech, and mind. Okay. worship of the Supreme Lord. Okay. Brahmanas, the spiritual master and superiors like father and mother. Okay, so these are the things which are in the mode of goodness, right? Cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. So these all things, see these things we covered in the previous chapters, isn't it? So the austerity of the mind, austerity of the body, right? So this actually comes in 5, isn't it? So these things we saw in, right? Krishna gave us 26 qualities, isn't it? So so that was what, chapter 14 or 13? In that chapter we went through, right? So all this celibacy, non-violence, cleanliness. Cleanliness is what, internal, external, isn't it? And non-violence in the sense it's not only killing the animals but not harming the others, isn't it? So we went through all these points. Do we recollect actually?
That was chapter 16, I believe, Prabhuji.
Okay. So in one of them, huh?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
these are the austerities of body and s- speech and mind. Okay. So for body, we should have these things. Okay. For speech, right? Speaking truthful words, pleasing, beneficial, not agitating to the others, right? So everyone speaks. Okay. So speaking capability is given to others. Okay. So it is not that, say, we actually speak in such a way that the other person gets agitated, and after that, even if you tell so many good things also, right, he'll never hear to you. That's not beneficial to anyone, right? Rather, it should be pleasing, but yes, it should be truthful also. So it's not that we concord something. So that should be a balance. So we shouldn't be harsh, we should be pleasing, but that doesn't mean that we don't speak the truth, right? So basically, take the example of teachers. Okay, so teachers are at times, they discipline the students, isn't it? So which is actually required, isn't it? Else the students uh, will be off track, right? And then so the class teacher also cannot maintain the class. But if the class teacher over and above, he becomes agitated for everything, what will happen? Will the students respect him or will they listen to him? No, isn't it? So the austerity of mind. So mind is what? So we should have gravity, isn't it? So gravity in thought. Okay. So whatever we talk through, right? So that it should be grave. So you see, like Prabhupada, right? So if any questions which were being asked, right? So he used to give the answers very politely, and then so he used to think so much and then give the answer that there will be no question next time, right? And then self control, so purification of one's existence. So if you see, and Prabhupada had answers for everything. Okay, so the toughest question you put, right, he used to give an answer. So he was different. Yeah. And the austerity of the body consists in the worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, cleanliness. Okay, this we went through, isn't it? Austerity of speech consists in speaking truthful and beneficial, and in avoiding speech that offends. One should also recite the Vedas regularly. And serenity, simplicity, gravity, self control, and purity of thought are the austerities of the mind. Okay. So, if these things are there, then we will be in one of the things. So, anyone knows what this pastime is?
Which is Kapila Muni, Prabhuji. I
No.
think so.
It's Vyasadev and Sukadev Goswami.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is Sukadev Goswami and this is Vyasadev. Okay, so that's the reason I just enlarged so that you can know. This thing we know, right? This is about Sukadev Goswami, right? So Sukadev Goswami actually didn't want to come out. So he stayed in the mother's womb for I think 16 years or 14 years. Okay, and because he was a realized soul, and then he didn't want to come to the material world, right? And then say get entangled into it. So the moment he was born, right? So he actually didn't want to stay in the family and all, right? So because that the relationship will all build. So he started running, right? And then after him, Vyasadeva was running in. Okay. And then say he went through the pond, say where actually the ladies were actually by bathing. Okay, so when they saw Sukadev Goswami, right? So they didn't actually bother. So as he left, but when Vyasadeva came, right? So they were actually covering their bodies because he doesn't identify who is man, who is woman, who is what, right? So he's a liberated person. So when Vyasadeva asked, then they said that he doesn't know anything. So for him, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah. So Govardhan Parikrama, Vrindavan Parikrama, this is Mayapur Parikrama, right? You all should go. Okay, so nice pictures. Yeah, this is in Ganga. Okay, aren't the pictures nice? Okay, so basically these are we are coming to the austerities. Okay, so austerities which are done in goodness, right? So they are done with transcendental faith and then not expecting material benefits. Okay, they are only done for the supreme. Okay. So basically, you look right. So all these things, right? These are the austerities only, isn't it? So this one, Govardhan Parikrama is of what? 24 kilometers. 24, correct. But say in this picture as it is, right? So this halfway through, right? I think initial. So the initial 2-3 kilometers and the other 3-4 kilometers. So we'll have to go through this road and say yeah. So on the Damber road and then a little bit on the footpath we'll have to go through. But once you enter, so there will be a divergence wherein so you go into the you go and then you do the circumambulating the Govardhan, so through the villages. Okay, so there the sand is very soft. So you see, so this is all. So you'll not have this pakka roads. It will be all normal sand and everything will be there, so you can walk easily. So this is Vrindavan, so which happens. This is on road only. Okay, so this for this there is no. This is 10 kilometers. Okay, and then this anyhow you'll have to board and boat, right? This Ganga, so this is very nice, right? Those ostentatious penances and austerities which are performed in order to gain respect, honor, and reverence are said to be in the mode of passion. They are neither stable nor permanent. So that they'll stay only for what? Until we have money, right? So until we have money and fame, so that's it, isn't it? So those are only for what? Pride, right? So to get respect, honor, isn't it? And then, as I said, right? So those things, how many days these things will work out, right? So these are which are not actually coming from the heart, right? So something which is created, right? So which is not genuine, right? Cosmetic things, how many days will it last, right? So like, as I said, right, so last time, so they pay actually people to do all these things, right? So to do few of the places they want to do some drama, all those things, right? So they're paid for it, right? All these things are not good, right? And then ignorance is always reverse. That's easy, right? Mudha. And those penances and austerities which are performed foolishly by means of obstinate self torture or to destroy or injure others are said to be in the mode of ignorance. You say this is how Hiranyakashipu did on toes, the austerity. So the other day, the Mataji was asking, right? So that's how the demons do. So the demons do. The demons are also powerful by doing such austerities. So we can't do. So we can't. How much time can we stand? So leave about standing on toes. Standing itself, we can't stand more than 2 or 3 hours, isn't it? Maybe 4 hours or max 8 hours. Can we stay a whole day stand? We can't, right?
Yes, Raja.
So, and this was Hiranyakashipu who did for so many years, 10,000 years or 1,000 years he did, not 1 or 2 days, years, huh? And that too in thousands. So that's how powerful they are. Yeah. So we covered this is what austerities is done, food is done. So next section is okay, moods, charity now. Okay. That gift which is given out of duty at the proper time, right? This is very important. Desha kala cha patra cha. So this is very important. Yeah. To a worthy person and without expectation of return is considered to be the charity in the mode of goodness. Yeah. So one of the example is what? So distributing books, isn't it? So what else anyone can think of?
Uh, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, like donation to orphanage or old home age and all.
That we'll get to know. So where does that come? Okay, Mataji. So that is also good thing. Okay.
Like to the needy people. And in
Uh,
city, generally, we
but
don't find
hmm,
exactly who is the needy person.
correct.
So we go through various organizations, either in
Yeah,
temple or these organizations.
correct, Mataji. But there also we'll have to see. That's what, right? I said, right? Desha
Yes,
Kala Patra. That's very important, right? So we'll actually go through these things. So as you said, right? Said pilgrimages. If we go and then so for constructing temples and all those things we give, that's good. Okay. Or to qualified brahmanas or all right. So if we go and then do, so that will actually help us in purifying, right? So whichever is helping, right? So that will actually help us. Anything which is helping us in spiritual advancement, right? So that is actually the mode of goodness. Okay.
okay, okay.
Because Mataji, so what happens is there are people who give charity also, and then they'll say, as you said, right? So they'll go and then give charity to say any of the societies, right? And then they'll actually do so much of pomp and show for it, right? So you'll be seeing they'll be in Instagram and all whatnot. So see, he might be carrying one rice bag and then he might be giving, right? So those all things are there. So
Yeah.
this is like this is say in the past, right? So basically The Brahmanas, so they were not demanding anything, isn't it? So giving them, right? So that's all mode of goodness, right? And then giving out of duty without expectation of any returns, okay? And then it shouldn't be that, okay, so in the past people used to give, and then we know, right? So when Lord Krishna was born, right? So Nanda Maharaj actually gave so much of cows, right? So he gave so much of cows, and then to each his brahmanas, right? And then not only giving the cows, and then the cows were studded with jewelry, right? And then cloths on their back. So that was the thing, right? But these days, I think in Kali Yuga, these are all fading. Right? So in Kali Yuga, we would actually try to give what? Something which is not useful to us, isn't it? mostly, mostly we see that, okay, okay, something, okay, might be we have used it half of it, or something which doesn't fit us, or which is not useful to us, right? We'll say, okay, chalo, better to dispose, we give it to someone. But not that someone needs it and then we buy and give it, right? Or as I said, right? So the other things. Yeah, this is easy, isn't it? This is what I was telling. Charity performed with expectations of some return or desire for fruitive results or in grudging mood is said to win charity in the mode of passion. Selfie. And so this is much required, isn't it? So this is one of the example though, right? So basically we should act these in this mode of passion, right? So they do it, the charity, but they have some purpose. Okay. So they want some return. Okay. They want to go to the heavenly planets, or and then as Mataji said, right? So if someone is giving to an institute, right? So and then they start doing sense gratification, right? So those things are not good. But without any return and then to our spiritual advancement, those are wonderful, right? And sometimes just given as an say as a matter of obligation, right? In few cases, like you're not interested, but somebody is say like maybe this is neighbor pressure, peer pressure, boss pressure, right? Those things are again in charity of and passion. Right? Yeah, this is what we saw. Yeah, this is see. Charity performed to an improper place and time and given to unworthy person without respect and with contempt in charity in the mode of ignorance. So this is mode of ignorance. What is saying? You read the board. Can anyone read this board? What is written?
Help, I need money for weed.
Hmm. Weed is what?
Drugs, right?
Drugs. That's the thing. So in mostly in Western countries, they have these placards, and then they sit, and then they expect some um, dollars, some change or something which you can put, and then if if you don't read that, right, you may be feeling that, okay, so you have given to a person who is hungry or so, right? But what is the fun of giving him? So you are giving your money to get him spoiled, right? And then that karma will come to you only because you are helping him to do that. So it's an impure person, right? Improper time, unworthy person. What will happen? And then most of the beggars you see in India also, right? So they ask money. So what do they do? At least 50 to 60% they actually booze. If there is a liquor shop nearby, right? So you'll be seeing that they'll be there only. After the day's collection is done, right? So they all go and then they'll have liquor there. And then next day, next same story. So this is this we shouldn't give. So see, if in this case, what happens is we are actually helping, right? So more than him, right? So we'll also get the bad karma because we are helping someone to do bad things, right? So this is very difficult, yeah. So at least we shouldn't give to these people. Knowingly, we should never give. Okay. So yeah, no proper respect, right? At impure place, improper time to unworthy persons, right? So this shouldn't be done. Okay. So this is we are coming towards the end of the chapter. Okay. So now the Lord actually will say, okay. So up to this point, right? So the Lord has described how we can actually be in the different modes of nature, right? And then so we can actually identify what kind of a person he is, right? So what kind of um, mode he is into, isn't it? So by looking into these things, right? So the worship, right? So the food, the austerity, the sacrifice and charity which he's doing, so which we went through, isn't it? So if we actually gauge these things, right? So you'll be able to know what that person is into, right? And basically, all these things, right? So even we read, right? In the mode of goodness, also there is some attachment to the material nature. Okay. So, but how we can actually getting free from these defects, say, actually of these sacrifices which we do in, right? So how do we actually get ourselves free from them? Okay. So this is basically, right, is done through these modes. Say, if we actually chant this, right? Say from the beginning of creation, right? These three words like Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. Okay. So whenever we are giving charity and all, right? Say that sacrifice which is being done, right? So instill this mentality in sacrifice, austerity, and charity by Om Tat Sat. Okay. So this is the one. From the beginning of creation, these three syllables Om Tat Sat have been used to indicate the supreme absolute truth Brahman. They are uttered by Brahmanas while chanting Vedic hymns, giving sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Supreme. So anything we want to give, right? So we started with Om Tat Sat. So that's what the Brahmanas do. Okay. Thus, the transcendentalists undertake sacrifice, charities, and penances, beginning always with Om. Okay. So this is anything, right? So any mantra also it starts with Om, isn't it? So indicates the first goal. Om means Vishnu. It is placed at the beginning of the say Om Tat Sat. Om is beginning, Tat is between, and Sat is end. Okay. So Om means it is placed in the starting. Okay. One should perform sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendentalist activities is to get free from material entanglement. Okay, so these are the words. Okay, so here also we saw, right? So Om. So Om iti eta Brahmanu Nedistam Nama. So this indicates the first goal. So these are all the references which are being given. Okay. Tat comes from the Chandayogya Upanishad. Okay, so wherein so they are saying that whatever we do, right? So one should perform sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word tat, so that we get free from the material entanglement. That describes detachment of work for the sake of liberation. Okay. These activities are done with disregard of the material results. The absolute truth is the objective of devotional service. This is Sat. Okay. And it is indicated by the word Sat. Here you see. Don't read as fat. Okay. So this is Sat. These works of sacrifice, of penances, of charity, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Lord. So, what is the destination? So, Om is beginning. So, we are actually thinking of the Lord, right? So, Tat is nothing but mid. So, in Tat, so what is happening? So, we are actually getting freed from the material entanglement. And Sat is basically the absolute truth, is the devotion of devotional service, and is indicated by the word Sat. These works for sacrifice of penance and of charity, true to absolute nature, are performed to please Supreme. So, what is the objective? Is to please the Supreme Person. Okay. So, that's Sat. Sat means eternal. Okay. Anything which we do, right, for the Lord, as we said, the soul is eternal. Okay. Anything, any activities which are done for the service of the Lord, right? So, in which reveal the true spiritual nature, in such activity the performer of action becomes eternal. The activities are aimed at the eternal, and the benefit of these activities are eternal. So basically, for us, if we think of chanting, that is chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, isn't it? That's devotional service. Factually, the transcendental sound Omkara, although a combination of three words, A, U, and has transcendental potency, and one who chants Omkara will very soon realize Omkara and Lord Vishnu to be non-different. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. We are getting the references. So this is the letter A, Akara. So in Om, right? So in Om, the Akara refers to Krishna, which is Sarvalokaika Nayaka, the master of all living entities and planets, material and spiritual. So he is we know, right? Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, we have read through, right? So, and then what is that? The Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti, isn't it? And then U indicates Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency of Krishna. And M, the Makara, actually indicates the living entities. Okay, so that's the meaning of Om. So then more details, you read Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 7.128. Okay. But sacrifice, austerities, and charities performed without faith in the Supreme are non-permanent. O son of Partha, regardless of whatever rites are performed, they are called asat. Okay. Sat is eternal. Asat is reverse of it, opposite of it, and are useless both in this life and next life. So if we do those things, right, it is not going to help anyone. Okay. So anything, right? So after the activities which are performed, which are not religious, which are not done in proper consciousness, right? So they'll not have, which are not without faith, right? So that temporary, right? And then they'll never bear in if there are, and then if there is no guidance and all that, so what will happen, right? So if we do things in the mode of ignorance, so we are going to be in the cycle of birth and death. Even in passion, also the same thing is going to happen, isn't it? So this is the ultimate goal, right? So what is the ultimate goal? So the ultimate goal is to understand about the Lord, and we should have the faith in the Supreme, right? So the Vedic instruction, the Lord Himself says, right? So in chapter 15, He says that Vedesya Sarvar Ahmeva Vedyo. So by knowing the Vedas, you should know me, and I am the compiler of the Vedas. So that's the reason the emphasis is to have faith in the Lord, right? So basically, and we are all conditioned souls, isn't it? And then due to that, we will get attracted to one thing or the other, isn't it? But actually, if we take up Krishna consciousness and then we move towards it, right? So then we'll actually surpass these three modes, right? So these things we have read in the past chapters also, right? So best thing is to receive the spiritual knowledge, right? So to have Sadhu Shastra, right? So this is ABCD formula everyone knows, isn't it? ABCD, anyone knows what is A? It's not that difficult question here. Hey, what is A?
Don't know, Prabhuji.
A is association. Okay. What is B? Books. Okay.
Chanting.
Huh?
C is chanting.
C
Three chanting.
chanting.
And the
So,
devotional course.
Yeah.
so that comes under association only devotional service comes. Okay. A is association with the spiritual
Devotee.
master and devotees. Okay. And then B is reading books. Right?
Mm-hmm.
B is for books, studying shastras. Right? Sadhu Sangha. And then C is chanting.
Chanting.
So you're doing both what? Shravanam and Kirtanam is over there. Right? And then D
Mm-hmm.
is diet. So which diet? Krishna Prasadam.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow these things, right, then say
Yes.
it's enough, right? With four
Mm-hmm.
eggs, and then if you do all these things, then that's ABCD formula. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
simple formula. So with this, we ended chapter 17. So chapter 17 is a small chapter, right? So there is nothing much which we can actually dig through, and then so even if I prolong, right, so it will be like an elongated story. So I didn't want to do that. So rather we pick the next chapter tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Any questions, Matajis and Prabhujis?
Prabhuji, one question. Initially, when you started this chapter, it said, where do these people fit on the in the inverted tree?
Correct.
So, what is the answer to that?
So they'll be in that extra roots are there, right? So because they are doing what pious and impious things, isn't it? So they'll be juggling from one branch to the other.
Okay.
So a banyan tree is there, right? So you'll be seeing so many roots coming out of the banyan tree, right? So which are hanging.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be actually moving from one depending upon what things they're doing, right? So they'll be moving from one route to the other route, right? And then they'll never be able to go upwards. So the tree is there, right? So here there are no, so there'll be roots like this coming in, okay? They'll be actually moving in those roots only. They'll never have an idea that there is a branch, we'll go up and then we'll see through. So these all things they'll never ever see. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay, I think attendance is done. Okay. And then today was Ekadashi. So anyone is taking Ekadashi fasting?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Good, thank you. So we'll wind up for today's session, and then tomorrow we'll start chapter 18. Okay.
Prabhuji.
Vanchakalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namo. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.